Okay, here we are in Washington, D.C. Whatever. Inner City Press has just asked the State Department spokesperson, Heather Nauert, about a UN question about Syria, and also a question that have yet to see the U.S. State Department speak on, the illegal refoulement by Nigeria, from Nigeria, 47 people to Cameroon. She took that under advisement. She said if it wasn't in her binder, she still might answer it. So at least they might do more than the UN, because I can say, having been asking this question at the UN for some time, we've seen almost nothing except corruption. Corruption, golden statues, censorship, closing of doors. It's pretty shocking. So we had to come somewhere else to ask it. Most of the briefing was dedicated to Syria. Obviously, it seems strange, to be honest, because the decision is going to be made by Trump, and so you're having these very kind of carefully worded legal things that they prefer, the OPCW and the GIM, or UNIMI as it's known. But I think there's only one person right now that knows what the U.S. military will do, and it's not Mattis. In any event, the question has been raised on Cameroon. What's the U.S. position on it? What are they going to do? Hopefully they'll get back to us. The other one had to do with the Conference on Disarmament, where Syria is set to be the president on May 24th, May 28th maybe. Robert Woods said that they're unqualified, but is the U.S. going to drop out of it? Is it going to walk out of it? They're going to be pulling some strings? Will there be a different government? Yeah. I hear you, commenter. That seems to be the current thinking. It seems strange. Here at the State Department, the mood was, we're waiting to see the vote at the UN, we're OPCW. OPCW doesn't assign responsibility. So that and Trump saying we're going to make a decision within 24 hours to 48 hours, and we're 24 hours into it, there seems to be a disconnect. In any event, we're going to suspend this here, but we're here. Here we are, and we'll have more. Watch this feed. Okay, well, here we are. It's Wednesday, April 11th. This is the Sultan Qaboos Cultural Center of Oman. They play a role in the diplomacy, such as it is, regarding Yemen. Here we are. Up ahead, the White House. Somewhere, sometime, a decision will be made regarding the promised missiles on Syria. As the Security Council flails around with no fewer than 3, yes, count them, 3 resolutions failing yesterday, one man, and one man alone, apparently, maybe in consultation with Macron, as they call him, or Theresa May, who seems to be demurring. We just, in advance of the UN noon briefing, we submitted 3 questions. No one even asked about the one about Syria coming to become the president of the Conference on Disarmament. But we got a written answer and we published it. It's a pretty lame answer. We asked the State Department yesterday. In any event, now you see it. This is the DC beat. DC beat on L, 16th Street and L. We were rolling by. It's quite a scene at the Cultural Center of Oman, but we've got places to go and people to see and missiles to watch out for. They're taking a selfie. All right, let's see. Now, I'm wondering if we could actually broadcast while rolling. I don't think so. I think it's better to just keep moving. Okay, this will be the first in a series, to be continued. Okay, here we are. There's a preacher in front of the White House. There's signs. Convert the war. There's a Korean flag. This is a well-amplified sermon. Now, it happens in the run-up of promised missiles on Syria. So the talk about finality and the Judgment Day are ironic. Let's check out what the Korean flag is all about. There's another foreign policy situation. You're back. And we're back. Here we are. This is kind of a selfie stick, Koreans, but maybe we'll check out their sign. Talk is a poison apple. Whoa. Moon Jae-in. They don't want him talking. So you don't think they should talk, huh? Huh? What do you think of Ban Ki-moon? The other Moon, not Moon Jae-in. Ban Ki-moon. He's good? No good. No, I actually mean Ban Ki-moon, the former Secretary General of the United Nations. Did he help you? 10 years he was at the UN. Okay, well, few do. They said he was going to run for president against Moon Jae-in. Ban Ki-moon. But it didn't work out. Too much corruption.
Moon is North Korea spy.
Yeah. Oh, really? So wait, you like Mrs. Park?
Maybe Trump knows about that.
Ah. Well, let's go find out. Thanks a lot. Good luck with it. Okay, well, the South Korean protester here in front of the White House, bags of cash. Ban Ki-moon took bags of cash. Yes, he did. Let's check this one out. There seems to be a Korean theme to a lot of this. USFC. What? Whoa, People's Democratic Party. There's a lot of... Man. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Fuck Trump. Just sorry for the profanity, but there it is. I kind of expected to find a little more... Seems like the Syria threat's not being taken seriously yet. All right, then. Well, there it is. La Casa Blanca. Where, at some point, the decision will have to be made. It's a motley crew. It's a motley crew. We're going to have to park these wheels pretty soon, to be honest with you. But it's a hell of a day here in the neighborhood. Secret Service government. So we'll end up. We're going to do a stand-up, as usual. Here in D.C., in search of who's going to make the decision. Early this morning, Trump tweeted, "Get ready, Russia. The smart missiles are coming." Although we're down here and we yesterday asked the State Department about Syria, even monitoring the Security Council from afar, Sweden said whatever happens has to be in consonant with international law. And the French ambassador, interestingly enough, entirely dodged the question and said, yes, the weather is beautiful, and it is beautiful, but that's a dodge. To be continued. Okay, well, a short bike ride from the White House. Here we are. Law firms, lobbyists, unions, and here, at the end of the long street, as close as a bike would get us, is Capitol Hill. Now, some there have asserted a right or a desire to oversee the coming campaign on Syria. I think it was Senator Blumenthal who this morning said airstrikes, or as he put it, a few tomahawks, wouldn't require the involvement of Congress, but anything longer would. Nobody wants to take responsibility. Macron, across the way, Macron, they're ready. They said they're ready for action. Those guys are ready. They're always ready. They've been intervening in Africa for decades. They do it several times. They do it all the time. Mali. Today, the French ambassador in the UN didn't want to discuss Mali on his way in. It's really their thing. They're just getting some international money to pay for it. Look at the beauty of the trees that have launched themselves here in D.C. And here, Fox News, ready for the live hit. Fox News, C-SPAN. These guys are going live. Hang on. No, maybe it's not Fox. Could be CBS. CBS News, which, as we documented, CBS News sort of tried to feed a line to an ambassador. So the P3 are negotiating, and the ambassador was like, no, all 15. He said, the P3 fixation on the UK, France, and the US. When you put those two letters of each in order, France, the UK, and the US, you get what some call the P3. But we launched maybe a little too interstitially here. The distances are large here in the Capitol. Oh, it seems that Senator Marco Rubio, has spoken, or at least tweeted, about what we asked the State Department yesterday, which involved at the UN, Syria, no less than Syria, coming to preside over the conference on disarmament on May 28th. State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert called it an outrage, but said she had yet to speak with Nikki Haley about it, terms of the strategy. Rubio's coming out. We asked the UN in writing, what does Antonio Guterres think about it? Separately, what might he do? You know what? I guess he doesn't think anything about it. Despite his many calls, they foisted off a written response from Geneva, which simply said the alphabet works that way. Syria is next, and it's an office building. Then we'll have to get it in the hard office building. But we will. Repeat, will. Oh, we've got some trees there. Oh well. All right. Hey, what's going on? Well, here it is, Capitol Hill, where they write the laws deregulating the banks, but don't really control the war power. Now, that could change. That could change with a never a dull moment White House, with the tweets flying, with the questions asked. But for now, deregulation of the economy, and specifically banks, is their main focus. There was a law. It was known as S-2155. We at Inner City Press, as well as covering the looming war, or wars, the existing wars in Yemen, the forgotten wars in southern Cameroon. We've covered this as well. S-2155, a bill which pretended that the largest banks on earth are in fact community banks. But what's their community? Dictators? In any event, we came this way as opposed to the other way because we saw something of a hoopla. The architecture here is so grand, so large, that now, are these guys actually going in to cast a ballot? Here in D.C., you see a lot of the same Go Noles, FSU. It's a Florida plate. What's going on? These are actually, these are not soldiers. These are some kind of ROTC, or even younger than ROTC. We got purple shirts. People come branded. We're going to go around the front. Wait. Whole classes can get lost. Okay. Let's go this way. Uh-oh. Got some serious guarding going on here. We've been on the Senate side, now we're coming to the House side. Nope. Note the camera position. Let's see how it goes over here. We're talking Rayburn. We have a still photograph of the Senate Democrats fundraising townhouse. Not sure who's living in there, living large. I'll tell you that a number of the Democrats voted for this S2155, which, under the guise of deregulating community banks, provided massive benefits for Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank, etc. It's kind of a mixture of lobbyists and tour groups, some dapper gentlemen. Unlike the UN, the public actually can get in. At the UN, even the journalists they don't like, even long-time investigative journalists covering the UN, can be excluded at the drop of a hat. Yes, it's true. They did it. They locked the door on the 3rd floor. They've locked the door on the 4th floor. Long-time viewers of this stream may have seen it. But here it is. The grandeur of American power. Although we have to say, some pretty big decisions are not made there, but elsewhere. This is Capitol Square. Olmsted Terrace. We can find these things online. We're in a rush to get somewhere. So we may, once again, in these incremental bits and pieces. Now, our coverage will... That looks like Robert Wood. No, it doesn't. Robert Wood is a longtime State Department official under the Obama administration as well, still there. He's the one who said Syria, unqualified to preside over the UN Conference on Disarmament. Now, it takes a lot at the UN to be unqualified. I mean, you've got Burundi, Saudi Arabia, but they thought that one is. I'm sorry, this is turning into a tourism one, but normally we've got some ranting in front of the Security Council. Today, we've come out with the cherry blossoms. A gift from Japan, it is said. And they're already falling down, gently. Now, early this morning, after Russia's ambassador to Lebanon, speaking on Al-Manar TV, for those who know what that is, said that missiles flying in to Syria will be confronted by Russia. Russia's put some air defenses. And Trump apparently seeing that, or some version of it, maybe on Fox and Friends. That's what people say, but who knows? Maybe he's got Al-Manar. There was a time in New York where it was illegal, I think, to show Al-Manar. In fact, I think a guy went to jail for reselling the signal of Al-Manar. That's not very First Amendment-y, but that was even before the current fake news fixation. It was considered a way, I guess it was under the theory that you were providing support to a terrorist group by selling the signal Al-Manar. The architect of the Capitol. He's got a nice pickup truck. Well, the perimeter is pretty well. If you thought you could come and chill on the stoop of the People's House, you were incorrect. But you can't look up at it. And it's pretty daunting. It's pretty daunting. I don't know if it's taller than the UN. That I don't know. Probably not. I think that's the tallest building in Washington, down there. The Washington Monument. A lot of selfies going on here. Got some golf carts. Quite a few automatic weapons. Don't know if they're AR-15s. Now, what we can say... Oh, Wall Street. What am I doing on Wall Street? Maybe you're right. Maybe this is like Wall Street South. Yeah, I get around. I cover the Federal Reserve. They're down on the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Those guys are deregulated. They just brought in the guy from the San Francisco Fed, John Williams. He's been overseeing Wells Fargo as it screwed over the American people. Yes, he has. Mr. John Williams. All right, then. Well, again, this is a Periscope in increments. And so we're going to end here with the Capitol. There it is. We remain. Whoops. The missiles haven't flown yet, but they've been promised. And we'll be covering it.